What is something that you thought was really important when you were young, but as you've gone older, you realize it wasn't that important?
Following a more traditional career path, like, oh, you go to university, you study this, you work in this field for the rest of your life, and you slowly start getting better and better at your job and improving your position. I think life is a bit more nuanced and complicated and to some extent exciting than that. Being a little bit more flexible is key.
Maybe money, money does matter because we make it matter, but in reality it's kind of, nonsense. So I guess the whole capitalist system, whatever.
I'm Kenneth and I'm from San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Michelle and I'm from Austria.
And how old are you?
31.
23.
And what does it feel like to be 31 and 23?
Good question. I'm starting to be at the age where I'm finally learning from my mistakes. So I think that's a good way to put the early 30s experience.
I feel like I'm attempting to finding some, not finding all, and that's okay. And I feel like that's what I'm learning right now, which is beautiful, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good age.
What has changed you for the better when you come to your 20s?
Well, let's say experiencing a bit of everything in my 20s really helped me and shaped me to become the person I am now and figure out my goals and my desires.
I mean, I guess this is a very basic answer, but leaving my comfort zone. I come from a small village, I just traveled around, I have the most amazing friends, so I feel like I learned a lot from them. Also from them coming from a lot of places, I think that was quite important for me. So I think that opened up a whole new set of possibilities, which was amazing.
And what do you think, that the other people also feeling the way you think about world, or is it a little difference?
About the world?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it depends on where they're from and what experience they have with other cultures. But for me, growing up in San Francisco, it's I was exposed to many cultures from all over the world. So I was always curious about the world, and I was always not just to travel to it, but to learn about it, watch the news, read books. So I would say I had that curiosity from the very beginning.
I think I would agree to the most extent. I think everybody has such different experiences and shared experiences that we all have very different opinions and worldviews, which is also beautiful in a way. And I think in the end the reality is somewhere in the middle. I think that's why it's important to talk to other cultures, talk to other people, blah blah blah. Talk to other ages. I think that's beautiful. So I don't think I'm the norm, absolutely not. But I think my viewpoint is one of many, and one of many important ones.
And what is something that you thought was really important when you were young, but as you've gone older, you realize it wasn't that important?
For me, to some extent, it's kind of following a more traditional career path. Like, oh, you go to university, you study this, you work in this field for the rest of your life, and you slowly start getting better and better at your job and improving your position. I think life is a bit more nuanced and complicated and to some extent exciting than that. So I think being a little bit more flexible is key.
Wow.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe money, money it does matter because we make it matter, but in reality it's kind of, nonsense. So I guess the whole capitalist system, whatever, I feel matters less than what I expected it to. Yes.
31 and 23 is a long journey of your life. Is there anything you wish you have done differently?
I suppose I am starting to wish that I planned a bit more for my life into the future at a bit younger age.
As of now, no. Not saying that there wasn't many mistakes, there were. But I feel everything kind of added up to the place where I'm at right now, and I think I'm at a pretty good spot.
And if you could go back in time to have a conversation with your younger self, what advice would you give to him and to her?
For me,
to become better?
For me, it's actually to have gotten out of my comfort zone sooner. That's what I would tell myself.
Go with the flow and chill. Do what you want, have fun.
And what do you think? What is stopping us from getting what we want? Nowadays, a lot of youngsters are unhappy and negative nowadays.
Perhaps too many distractions with social media, and to some extent, those distractions, not perhaps on social media, but in real life, are also positive because that, again, we meet people from all different kinds of backgrounds and different parts of the world, hopefully, and we realize, there's actually more opportunities out there that had initially believed. So then it's important to, if we are interested, to seek out those opportunities. But then sometimes there's too many, and it's just hard to decide on a few to focus on and improve on.
It is something that fear inside of us. You mean that kind of fear, or not knowing some more information about?
Perhaps maybe not fear, but just. I suppose there's always an opportunity cost. Like there's always an alternative, and you never know if the alternative will lead you into a better path than the choices that you're making currently. I think it's less about fear and more about the unknown. And like you never know exactly until you kind of focus on one or two paths.
Yeah, I guess this age comes with exactly this, which is a privilege. Like we can do so much in anything, which also means that there's opportunity costs and you don't know what you want to do, and there's just so many options. And also adding to that, maybe I feel like we're also losing some sense of community, because it's becoming more and more individualistic, especially maybe in like Austria, for example, where I'm from. So I feel like we're losing like people and close friendships and our close-knit relationships, which I think are really important. And since there's so many options and so many things to do, I feel like we might be focusing partially too much on what are my career plans, what is my future, what is this, instead of in the moment, in the present, choosing what you want to do and spend it with people that you actually care about.
Wow. And what is the one piece of advice you've ever heard or ever received from someone? Like,
for my parents, they're very much about like being kind to others and just kind of keeping other people's point of view, so you could relate more to others and just be a better individual.
The best piece of advice, I guess, but spontaneously I'm thinking of that you don't owe anyone anything. I think you owe, that's what I read, or like someone told me, you owe people like empathy and compassion and respect. And I think that's a good way to approach life. Just in every interaction, you owe the person respect or empathy.
what is your best piece of advice for anybody who's younger than your age?
Stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay curious, learn, use your options and help others, I guess.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.